So Adaptive and Inclusive Recreation, also known as AIR, we provide specialized programs to meet abilities of all needs here in the Greensboro community. We encourage participants to reach their highest level of independent play through recreation. We advocate for inclusion so that individuals with disabilities feel a sense of belonging and have an opportunity to excel in various types of recreation in our community. Adaptive is when equipment or play is modified so that an individual with disabilities is able to participate successfully. Accessible is providing equal access to recreation and facilities. An example would be paved or accessible routes for people who may use a mobile device. All inclusive, which is what this playground is, provides equal play and recreation opportunities to all individuals regardless of their ability. All-inclusive means there's really something for every single person to be able to do. Someone who wants to come out and they're not comfortable maybe going up to the upper levels as far as the playground, even though there's ramps, there are tons of things that you can do that are just here on ground level. There's things to touch. There's different activities. There's some things make different sounds for you to be able to do. There's also kind of a little dome so that sound, if it starts to bother someone, then that's kind of an area where they might be able to go and kind of just get away for a moment and then can go back out and enjoy some of the other features. And it's not just for kids, it's for adults as well. This is an opportunity for grandparents who maybe use a mobile device to come out and actually get on the playground and play with their grandkids.
This is everybody's dream, right? All kids, this is their dream. And we finally had an opportunity to put it all together with additional funding so that we met all the requirements of the whole child, right? Every child. The playground is ramped so that all abilities can play on the unit. In addition to that, the pour in place is an inclusive surface, so it's all abilities can play on it, can enter into it. And it's outside of the boundaries as well. Past all the amenities, much of which are adaptive to any child. One of a kind because of the custom design, and it all centered around AIR. So that's how we started with the design of this playground, because it's the acronym for our Adaptive Inclusive Recreation, which is the section that provides all of our inclusive opportunities, right, in the Parks and Recreation Department. So up in the air, that's why it's cloud-based, that's why there's a sunrise in the pour-in place, because we want it to appear like it is up in the air.
Recreation therapy is known as the fun therapy, so we promote health and wellness through doing recreation or a leisure activity. So by utilizing something like the inclusive playground that we have here, the therapist could take their client, and the client might think that they were just merely playing on the playground, but the therapist would have a goal in mind, and they would be trying to increase the self-esteem by maybe having the client go and talk to one of the peers on the playground. With mobility, you could do it the same way. You'd be increasing your gross motor activities by maybe climbing the stairs on the playground or spinning on one of the other accessible equipments that we have. Within the community, by having the inclusive playground, it shows people within this area and even within the whole world that you can promote an inclusive environment. It allows people of varying abilities to get to play together and just have a good time.
I am Tabia McKenzie, and this is my daughter, Nundi. Nundi's 11 years old. She has Turner syndrome. It only affects girls. And with that being said, she is much shorter than most girls, even though she's 11 years old. She also has hearing loss in her right ear. She wears a hearing aid. She has juvenile arthritis, and we take those injections to help her with that every 2 weeks. But she is very capable. She is really exciting and fun. She's loving, super sweet. She is really powerful. She's very powerful and very strong, you know. It doesn't take too much to get her down. Like, she's a winner, you know, and I love her personality. And yeah, that's about Nundy.
I like it on a swing. I want blue and yellow swing.
For Nundy, she's not always aware of her boundaries and how far to push herself. So for the swings to have that safeguard is important for her to feel safe and still enjoy herself. And I think for me, it's a great way to know what's her comfort level, not push my comfort level on her. So she's able to tell me, I want this one, not that one. So at this part, there's options. And most parts, there aren't any options to choose from. She likes the adaptive seesaw because it's not just me and her. There's more people involved, as well as the sounds with the animals. She loves animals. She loves learning about animals too. Yeah. So for her to just be there and be still and listen and push the button is great for her to keep learning even at a park.
Bird and is a glorious creature with an average wingspan of between 5.5 and 7.5 feet.
I think the question should be like, why not? Right? Like, why shouldn't we have inclusive play for all children with all abilities? It should be standard across everywhere. And then for this to be inclusive, it shapes her life and her peers, her friends around her to know how she feels and how she operates in this world. You know, being excluded won't help her. Being able to be with other children playing, learning about each other as they play is great, and it's definitely needed.
So I'm Carrie Sawalski. I'm a pediatric physical therapist for Cone Health. So I work with children of all abilities to help them with their gross motor skills. And I also serve on the board of Family Support Network of Central Carolina, whose mission is to connect kids with the community and each other. As a therapist, I refer families here because I am a clinic therapist, so I work in my own clinic. But I love being able to tell families about this amazing space because it is one of the most accessible places that we have in Greensboro. And so for me, it's important that I can tell a family who has siblings where one child maybe uses some kind of wheeled mobility, whether that's a wheelchair or a walker, and then they have an able-bodied sibling who can run around. I'm like, this is a good place with options for everybody to come where they can play side by side, where as a parent you can get around. I love how great the trails are to get over to the community garden and just to encourage people to be outside.
I use a walker because I have osteogenesis imperfecta. Basically, my bones are a little bit softer. Not soft, but they break easier. And my mom says it'd be better not to risk breaking something while I'm on the playground rather than to have a fracture and have to leave early. So I use the walker when my legs hurt from walking too much and stuff like that.
So when Uriah sometimes can't roll into a playground like you can this one, what's that like? Is it kind of a bummer? Do you guys not get to play together as much in some playgrounds?
Yes, basically. So I really just sit. I don't really do much at the playground because sometimes it's just not as fun as this one because there's not as much stuff.
So Trayden, how important is it to be able to play with your brother on the playground?
Pretty important because then I won't have as much fun because I just have to run around and just do some things on my own.
All children seek sensory experiences, and so this is a great place, again, whether it's a child who's able-bodied and typical or a child who maybe is sensory seeking because they have autism. This is a beautiful space that allows them to do that. And you know, you just see the joy in all the kids, and it's just so contagious. So.
What's your favorite thing to do at the park?
Flip.
Swing?
Uh-huh.
Do you feel safe?
Oh, yeah.
Can you go high?
Oh, hi.
You go really high on the swing?
Oh, yes.
Can you do the swings by yourself, or do you need someone to push you?
Oh, both.
Yeah, a little push.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Can you show us
Oh, yes.
on the swing?
Uh-huh.
That would be awesome. Come show us.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, show us. Can you go super high?
Oh, yes.
Therapeutic play is the idea that all children benefit from play at whatever ability or level that they're at. So, you know, creating spaces where children can participate and do whatever they can do regardless of their ability, just to play like we all like to do when we come to the park.